Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bruce, and welcome to another edition of MCO at Home. And as you know, we are now in already the second season. In just this short period of time, we have entered into week 5 of our second extension, MCO 3. And the great thing is we have got more exciting things for you, more interactive, more engaging, and of course, even more interesting panelists as well. And who do we have here today? Yes, we have with us the very, very special and a huge personality in the SME business arena. And he is none other than Mr. Marcus Liew, who is the Director of Sales at Unique Fire Industries, Sdn Bhd. Marcus, welcome.
Hi, Dato.
Right. So, how are you doing? You are at the office.
Yes. I'm in the office.
Right. Correct. So you are actually at work, working from office.
Yeah.
You have got the permission from MITI and the as an essential service.
Yes. Actually, we have applied with MITI during the very early stage, and then
Right.
we actually obtained the approval as well for essential goods. I would say, yeah, okay. Essential goods.
So that's very interesting. We'll come back to that. But before this, can you kindly tell us, for those of us who are still unaware, what does Unique Fire do? Right? Can you just introduce what you do in Unique Fire? In terms of number of employees, size, how long has it been established?
Okay.
Give us a background.
No problem. Formally introduced, I'm Marcus Liew. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director for Unique Fire Industries, and I'm graduating from Australia with 15 years of experience in this fire protection line. Okay, Unique Fire is actually a total fire prevention solutions provider and manufacturers for full line of fire protection system in Malaysia. Unique Fire itself, we established in the year of 1997. And then during those days when we firstly established, we are actually trading for fire protection equipments, whereby there are a lot of international brands which is under our roof during those days, 1997, like from US, from Taiwan, Southeast Asia, and even Northeast Asia. And then in the year of 2008, we have turned into manufacturer, whereby in the market, if let's say like some of you, you all can see those fire extinguishers or fire protection equipments with the brand of Unique is actually manufactured by us in these Kota Kemuning factories. And over the years, since our establishment, I would say we have supplied more than 10,000 of projects. More than 10,000 of projects, like some of the airports like KIA2, and some of the major airports like Penang Airport, Kuantan Airport, Sabah Airport, Sarawak Airport. Our product can be seen there, and maybe shopping centers as well. All those key and iconic shopping centers that you can name it. So these are the few projects. But out of the so many projects, one of the projects that make us proud of Unique is that Unique Fire is actually the sole vendor for MRT tunneling station for all the 7 stations, for the first tunneling stations, and Unique Fire is the sole vendor for that. This is one of the testimonial, I would say, the testimonial for us, and then it's a memorable project that I always use to, promoting used to promote Unique Fire. Yeah, and then other than that, we have also our company size is we have around 150 employees, with a revenue of 80 over million a year. So besides that, our company Unique Fire is also being recognized by Malaysia Board Records in 2018 as the biggest manufacturer for fire protection equipment factory in Malaysia. And as of our sales, I would say our sales will be 90% local and 10% overseas.
Right. So there's still a lot of opportunities overseas. So you say you're the largest. So what is your market share like?
Our market share in Malaysia, if let's say I'm not mistaken, we have around like 40% market share.
That's pretty huge. Yeah.
40% market share in Malaysia market.
And that includes locally branded manufacturers and foreign brands as well, though.
Yes, 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 yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's
Exactly.
very sizable. Uh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
so you seem to have gone a long way since 1997. You know, you began as a sort of a reseller or distributor of foreign
Yeah,
brands. Then you
yeah.
created your own brand. Do you still do any OEM manufacturing for other people's brands?
Yes, yes, yes. We still do now. We have started to do because like for currently for fire protection equipment, it will be different. Every country have their own building bylaw. Like for SIRIM or their own certification. Like for Malaysia, we actually applied. We actually being certified by SIRIM. Being our product is being certified by SIRIM. But unlike like overseas, like European region, they have their own certification body, and US have their own certification body, followed by Germany. They also have their own certification body. That's why now we are in the midst of doing R&D for other certification. So the whole purpose is that this is upon request by our overseas customer, so that we can do OEM under their brand with the certification.
Okay, we'll come back to this overseas. It sounds very interesting. There's a new chapter out there, but I'm sure that it's also very competitive because you are then, challenged at a global arena, playing at a global arena. But again, coming back to the purpose we are here today, which is talk about this COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing MCO. So it seems to have hit almost everyone in the country, whether directly or indirectly. So, can you tell us your experience when this MCO was about to be announced? I think the Prime Minister gave us like less than 2 days to get prepared. Uh, what went through, your mind, and what went on at Unique Fire in the early days, very quickly?
In the early days before actually this lockdown, yeah, correct. We have actually we have sent some signs there will be lockdown through the announcement or through the from the government, from the news. We have certain sign. The thing is that this lockdown is that it is not being planned, not only by us and by our contractors as well. So during those times, we actually we receive a lot of orders, and then we can't actually deliver to our customer during the short time frame, even though we do overtime and things like that. So I think this lockdown is around started 18th of March, is it?
That's right.
If let's say I'm not mistaken, 18th of March. So during the lockdown period, the last few days, as I said, like the delivery goods of our goods is actually picking up. And then at the same time as well, we also have received some overseas order that need to be delivered as well. So during the time, it's quite, we need to plan a lot of things. And then later on, when MITI open up and then say that there are some of the essential goods that can actually operate, but we need to send in our application. So during that time, we also try to send in our application. So we are so blessed, we obtain the approval, and then we can start to fulfill our overseas order. So this is the whole thing. Yeah.
So the overseas orders, the ports are open.
Yes, the ports are still open. Yeah, the ports are still open. Like we have delivered to during this period of time, we have a couple orders from Cambodia, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. So we able with this approval, we can operate. We able to send out all these orders.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you are blessed. You are indeed blessed. So not only is your manufacturing still able to carry on, but
yeah,
it's still at 50% capacity, right?
Yes, it's still at
currently.
Yes, currently 50% capacity. Correct.
Right. So you're still able to manufacture, albeit at a lower, smaller capacity, but you are still able to deliver it to your local clients, as well as, because delivery, as I understand it, it's also an essential service, and you are not affected by the closing of the borders. As well. Are the borders still open up to today?
The borders now, like slowly, it is open up, but all those transporters, I think they have obtained the approval from MIDI. But the thing is that they also need to look for whether the load of the lorry, is it a full load, and then is it worthwhile for them to travel to other borders. So these are the things, yeah.
Okay, what about, because we find that this virus doesn't just affect Malaysia alone. You find this virus exploding in certain countries. It spiked in Europe, and certain parts of Asia as well. It's affected them. Has that in any way affected your business as well? It could get out
Yes,
of
I think
Malaysia, but it couldn't get into those countries,
I
where
think
your
in
buyers are.
in yeah, I think in Malaysia our business also will be affected because from just now I have just introduced our unifier. We are total fire prevention total prevention solution provider and manufacturer for fire extinguishers. As we know, our services, our goods and services and products is actually an requirement for all those buildings. Regardless it is industrial, commercial, residential. We are one of the mandatory, our equipment is a mandatory requirement.
Right.
So now, towards now, the COVID-19 and the whole economic situation for construction, I would say after this MCO, it will be pretty slow.
Right. But
Yeah.
I should have asked this question much earlier. So other than fire extinguishers, because you mentioned it's not just fire extinguisher, it's a total fire solution. What suite of products do you have under Unique Fire?
Okay, under Unique Fire, actually we have this fire suppression systems for, I would say, for fire suppression system for different type of application. For example, we are provide protection for utilities like TMB substations. We are provide fire suppression for kitchen, and then we are provide solutions for we call it these buildings like sprinkler system, those spraying spraying type, and then we have also detection systems. We have also detection system, and then we have our wet riser. We call it wet riser and dry riser system. This is all mainly for residential.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, so you were saying that so international borders could be affected as well, but I think you mentioned 90% of your work comes locally in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And whilst you might be rushing to fulfill your existing orders, your future orders might be affected due to probably slowdown of the economy, particularly in the construction and possibly further up line the property sector.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about all these challenges that you're facing?
Okay, the challenges we are facing is that we can see because from after the lockdown, we actually have still maintain our relationship and communication with our contractors as well. So the feedback from the contractors is that during this lockdown, they really face a very big issue in terms of their cash flow.
Yeah.
In terms of their cash flow. So if let's say for us, if let's say they are facing issue with their cash flow, of course we will ask what is the reason? What is the reason of this? Because they as what they have told us, because during the time this time round there is no work in progress. So if let's say there is no work in progress, there might be delay on receiving the payment from their client. So which is understandable. And yet, if let's say this thing happens to my fire contractors, which is my client, so indirectly it will also affect us because we their collection, our collection from this client also will be slow.
Right.
Yeah, also will be slow. So
all part of the integrated ecosystem. The developers are not selling, they are not collecting, the banks are not lending, so they are not paying the main contractors, and then it goes down to the subcontractors and ultimately to manufacturers such as you. Correct. But this is not because of COVID, right? This has been happening, I think, in the past few months or even a year or so. But has COVID-19 actually aggravated the situation?
Yes, because even though this one happened months ago, but the difference is that there is no lockdown. The work is still in progress. It's just that now we have been locked down for coming to 1 month, and then followed by the third phase will be on the 28th. So altogether it's around 6 weeks. So if let's say this thing continuing to next month, and then we know that in the month of May, next month, if let's say they extend one more time, then it will be mid of May. So if let's say extend on mid of May, Hari Raya is around the corner. So I would say the whole May will be considered even though the lockdown is live up, it also will be considered a very, very low season for construction industries. So we will assume everything will be back only on June. So if let's say everything will be back only in June, so it took about 2.5 months altogether. So which is this will give a very big impact for the construction industries, like for our contractors as well, because the work progress is not in there. So if let's say in order for them to change back this work progress, so it takes time as well.
Okay, so I see you are faced with two challenges. One is with the slowdown, you're going to have lower orders and lower sales. And secondly, despite having the orders and sales, there is a risk that you may not collect that money, right?
Yeah, I would say there will be a delay in our collection.
Right.
Yeah.
So what steps are you doing, in order to alleviate or to manage this situation?
Okay, the steps that we are doing now is that now we know that for those customers, which of course most of our key customer, we actually providing terms to them, payment terms for like 60 days, 90 days, or 120 days. So before this, now we are discussing with our client, because they will be the one who knows that their collection from either developers or main con. So you just let us know. Maybe you have your own financial planning on what will be your financial planning, and then what will be your allocation for Unifier? Because we covered throughout Malaysia, we have more than 1,000 of customers. So we need to get the feedback from all our customers based on their allocation to Unifier. Because we ourselves, Unifier, also have our own financial planning. So I would say for all this information to us is very important. As we said, although in business, most of the people say that there is no win-win strategy or win-win solution. But I think in this round, our client and us, we need to think of a win-win strategy to let us just to sail through these 3 months, I would say. Okay. Just to sail through these 2 months, then both of the party will be in a good shape again. So this is just a temporary, I would say, just a temporary problem that we need to discuss with our client. This wouldn't be permanent.
Okay. Yeah. So in your risk management, you mentioned you've got 1,000 clients, and I'm sure in the 1,000 you've got some large ones and some not so large ones. Yeah. And they have got various risk factors. Have you done any sort of analysis on your customers? Which one should be allowed better credit, and which one you should sort of pull the plug before extending the line to them? Do you do any?
Basically, one of the things that we're trying to discuss with customer is that maybe you can let us know what will be your allocation. So, but the thing is, we need you to give us payment regardless. Maybe the outstanding amount from you to us, for example, is 50,000. For example, is 50,000. So 50,000, we are not requesting you to, to repay us the 50,000, but maybe the amount will be more than 50%. So if let's say the customer, most of the customer that can commit us, especially those our key customers, they can contribute this us. I think we should be able to sail through this crisis. Right. We're able to sail through this crisis. And then the reason being why we ask this is that now is the time for us to discuss discuss one solution, or discuss a solution when this government leave up the lockdown. Or else, if let's say we didn't have a mutual understanding during this time round, okay, when it's leave now, everyone will be busy. When everyone is busy, and then maybe there will be no discussion there, and then people will be impatient and things like that. I think now is the best time for both of us to look for a win-win strategy.
Right. So I assume your MCO is a lot of it is going to be tied up in negotiating with this 1,000 over customers of yours.
Yeah.
right? It's a
Yes.
great opportunity. But then again, I think that you are an unsecured creditor, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they have got many other obligations, with banks and other financial institutions.
Correct.
So therefore, your exposure is higher, right? In that sense. Okay. So again, this is a season where I think cash is king, collection is all the matter. But on top of that, I think it's also a time where we reach out to not only our customers, our people, our various stakeholders and negotiate. Uh,
Mm.
but one thing that seems uh, to make things a little easier, okay, would be the government economic stimulus package that was announced by the Prime Minister. And then there was an enhanced package of an additional 10 billion for SMEs. Has that in a way uh, helped you
Uh,
indirectly at least or
I
directly?
would, yes, I would say from the government, they are, for us, we actually, for us, I don't know it's good or not good. If let's say for SRF fund, we are not entitled due to our size.
Yep.
We are not entitled due to our size. So
Yet, yeah,
even though the interest is pretty attractive, 3.5%, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
and then the maximum is 1 million, and then we are not entitled for that. And then regarding the pre-Hatin stimulus package, and again, in order to for the entitlement will be our business need to drop by 50% from January onwards, and
Mm,
yet also in the other words, maybe our business is sustainable, and then we are not qualified that's as well. So
correct.
for this both of this stimulus package, we actually didn't benefit at all from the from our government. Yeah,
Mm,
but and yet for this feedback, we also pass the same message to our client, whereby we say that maybe like your size, your as the fire contractors, maybe your head count in your company is less than 75 people. I'm sure you will be less than 75 compared to us because we are manufacturers. We have more people. So why don't you guys go to apply for this funding and go to Pekeso, apply for this pre-Hatin as well. But and yet they try to do it, and then especially the banker side, when they give a call to the bank actually said that the fund is finished.
wow.
No more. Yeah, it's finished, and then they can't apply for the SRF as well. Yeah, these are the feedback. We wouldn't know where all the funding suddenly, so fast. Yeah.
So this is what's the scenario that's happening on the ground. So yeah,
Yes.
you are not
Yes.
the only person that says it.
Yeah.
Some you have to be an existing client,
Mm.
and some the banks are not even open. But when you get hold of them, the bankers will tell you it's gone. But at least in theory, do you think more would be coming? Because the first thing when the pre-Hatin budget was announced, it sort of benefited the B40s, M40s, the people in the streets. And then they said, okay, the SMEs were left out. Now they're taking care of SMEs which have employees of no higher than 200. Okay, we'll come
Yes.
back to that. All
Yeah.
right, you got a threshold of 200, a threshold of 75, and so on. So why can't you claim? Because under the wage subsidy, you can claim 600 ringgit for employees of less than uh, 200. You have got 150.
Because if let's say I'm not mistaken, right? This one our business also need to if let's say our business is
Oh, you need to show a drop in
yes, yes, yes,
from
yes,
January.
yes, yes, yes. That's
Okay,
why
but
from there we are not entitled. If let's say you're talking about for the month of April, then okay, it's not
yeah,
50%. It is more than 50%, certainly. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
if you
yeah.
got to show against January, yeah,
Correct,
that would be
correct.
very tricky. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That will be
but do
very
you
tricky.
think that there would be an additional stimulus package for a relaxation of the rules? Will that help you?
Yes, 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 yes. If let's say there is a relaxation of the rules, like if let's say the government can give some incentive in our income tax,
Mm,
SSTs, and then from the government side, maybe like utilities and
mm,
EPF, I think this will help us. This will help us. Yeah.
right. So in the meantime, you just got to benefit indirectly that your buyers, the contractors, fire contractors benefit from it, and hopefully you get a share of the indirect benefit further down the line.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the way, because we said that, okay, you need, if let's say you need any documents or any support or any help, we are much more willing to, support. And then I actually introduced some of my friends as well, like from the bank side. And then maybe you all can go through these people. They are quite, they are doing all these kind of loans, and then try to help in that way lah.
Okay, what else have you been kept busy? Because right now you did mention that collection is going to be difficult. Sales moving forward might be dampened. So what is the new normal like going to be for Unique Fire?
The new normal life for Unique Fire, I would say now, during the lockdown period, we actually have, how should I say, we actually have a lot of discussion with our supplier and supplier for our raw material, especially supplier for raw material and some finished goods as well for overseas. Actually, we are coming up with not to say sort like incentive. Like my customer, maybe they will come to me and then ask for extension on the credit. So at the same time, I also will pass back the same message to my supplier overseas. See, this is a situation in Malaysia. But as you see, because we know that even though Malaysia is not a developing country, but it is still a trading country. So what are the things that we can do to help out? In the other words, we also try to reduce the cost. If let's say whatever cost reduction that I receive from my overseas supplier or my business partner, I will still pass on to my contractors, because this is really a tough time, because everyone is out of cash. So if let's say in the event down the road, I would say if let's say this thing, everything will be in ship in June, I believe most of my contractors, they will start to touch on their own banking facilities. So when they touch on the their banking facilities, interest will incur. So I need to look for something which is, cost benefit to them. So these are the things that we the activities I'm doing now with my supplier.
Right. Are you a finance grad in any?
No, not really.
Because what you seem to have done, from my observation, is you have tied everyone, the stakeholders in the ecosystems, from your buyers, your contractors, right, to your bankers, to you as a manufacturer, and your suppliers together in a system. And what you try to do is aggregate the risks, and benefits across that. So at the end of the day, everyone collectively assumes that risk, and everyone collectively sees the pain. So the pain enjoyed, I wouldn't say pain enjoyed, pain suffered by one party is spread across, and whoever they can help, gets flowed across the board. You see yourself as that role?
Yes.
That's what I come to understand.
Yeah. That's why we need to take, not to, when there is a crisis happen, we can't think of our own interests. We need to think like for my client, okay, what will be their pain during this period of time? If let's say it is a short period for 1 month or 2 months, then it's okay. But according to according to the SMEs, and then there are some research out as well, they are about 70% of SME, they don't have a cash to sustain their company for more than 2 months. Anything above more than 2 months, and then this is really not to say a risk for them. Maybe there are some decisions need to be made, whether or not to continue, or whether or not to lay off their employees and things like that. Yeah, correct. So if let's say this is what is the SME facing, I think we as a manufacturers, we should do something. That's why these are the things I can do. The best thing I can do is that I will negotiate with my business partner overseas and all my suppliers, because this is from different layer, like what Dr. Bruce you just mentioned. We try to aggregate this thing.
Right, but it's
Because
not easy aggregating because they
Yeah.
are all different parties
Correct.
with their own self-interest and their, of course, collective interest. And you are taking that leadership role, if I can be bold enough to say. And
Yeah.
it's not easy being at the helm, taking that leadership role as a manufacturer. So what do you think is that you must have in you in order to make this happen? Because it's very easy for the supplier to say, well, that's just they are not my clients, they are about 2 levels away, that's not my problem. I just need to be paid right now. So you really needs a lot of communicating, engagement, and even influencing. What else is there that's required in that role of a leader, for you to step up?
For us to step out, because this is maybe from our company, as I said, we have established more than 20 over years. So during over these times, we have been working with those people maybe in China, US, or other part of the country for the past 20 years, and we have a very good bonding, and of course we trust each other. Like for us, Unifier, we actually even overseas supplier, from the trust and relation we have built over the years, we have terms. I mean, they actually give us terms as well. But the terms that they provide to us, maybe now the terms they provide to us is 60 days. So why don't you give us, for us, why don't you give us a longer terms, and we give you a kind of guarantee from Unifier. Because as I mentioned, this thing only will be for a very short time frame. I believe our Malaysia, the economy of Malaysia will rebound over the time. So with the trust, we hope that can help the local industries. Yeah,
Right.
through our own Unifier reputation over the years.
So it's a long game, trust is not built in a day, as they say. So
Correct.
you find that one of the very, very important factor, because if they don't trust you, they won't listen to you even as you step up. Interesting.
Yeah.
You also talked about the rebound of the Malaysian economy. Can you give us your opinion on when is this rebound going to take place? Because right now, there are huge question marks hanging over all our heads. And how is this rebound going to take place? Is it U-shaped, long stagflation before we see the inflection, or do you think it's going to be a V-shape? How positive are you?
I would say for this round, the economy, for me, it will be a long U-shape. It will be a long U-shape. Reason being is that because there are a lot of uncertainty happens from last year to this year, starting with the trade war between US and China, followed by our government uncertainty, and then followed by this MCO. So everything for
Let's not forget the oil price.
Yeah, the oil price. I heard, wow, today is the 25 years low, 1980 or something. 1980.
They have dipped below the $20 mark.
Yeah, dipped below the $20, and then today is the 25 years. Today is the lowest I heard. So with all these uncertainties, the graph is actually coming down, and then it be pretty flattened. I would say pretty flattened for these 2 months. And then once the COVID-19 is over, most of the people, they will feel more the sentiment. I would say that when it's over, the sentiment will be back to Malaysia. So I believe our government, they will keep on stimulating the local economy, whereby all those infrastructure and all those transportation which is under the plan of Malaysia, all this will keep moving, and then this will the sentiment, and then followed by those FDI will have more confidence, and then they will be coming back to Malaysia, and then followed by the property sector. So I would say all this, for me, the flatten maybe until September, and then from September onwards we are okay until next year, 2021. Even like IMF, they also have come up with a report whereby for Malaysia, they can see that there will be a GDP of 9% in year 2021, which is a very good news for us in Malaysia. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We read that. We're in the same chat group, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very, very positive. So now moving ahead, you say it's going to be the long U. So what will Unique Fire's trajectory be, as you prepare for that long U to take place? What are your plans?
Okay, our plans for these two, once the MCO lock up, even though it will be slow, I would say the construction industries, everything will be still moving, and then it will be slow. But in Malaysia, we are now, as I said, we are now capturing the market is around like 40%. There are still a lot of market share out there that we need to strategize, and then actually we have identified the market. I have identified the market, and then we input with the segmentation and the strategize. I think we will try to tap the untapped market during this time.
Are you able to share a little bit of where these untapped market are? Is it the end consumer market, or what kind of markets are you talking about?
Okay, now I would say it will be the end consumer market. End consumer market will be the next market that we are targeting, because will be promoted, because like for our line of customer, like for hardware shop, they also try to sell. I can see there are a lot of opportunities there for our product to sell in the hardware shop. And then the next opportunity will be the transportation and logistics.
Right. Because carry on.
Because nowadays, as we can see, there are a lot of deliveries and like GDEX and most of the key logistic company, they requires they have bought in a lot of van for their logistic. And then this fire executions is also one of the item which is a mandatory item when need to go through JPJs, and this will be I would say the untapped market that we can go through for the next few months. Yeah.
Right. Are the regulatory requirements for transportation extinguishers different from those in the building?
Yes. The size will be smaller. The size for building, the buildings are normally it will be 6 kg or 9 kg fire extinguishers. Unlike for transportation, it will require around like 1 kg. For like those that Grab e-hailing, it will be 1 kg. And then for commercial vehicles like lorry and things like that, it will be like 2 kg.
Right. So there's quite a bit of value add, a lot of R&D you need to do. I'm going to share a photo I think I've seen you sharing before of very, very personalized fire extinguishers, right? So I suppose that's for the consumer market. And I think the price per unit is going to be much higher than the bulk standard ones that you have in the construction industry. So that's what we mean by value add. And there's another area where I see a lot of potential from my angle, which is the international market. Do you see that opening up? Because you talked about the U shape in Malaysia, but other countries could have very different shapes. Have you identified any markets out there?
Yes. Like for this market, Unique Fire is a regional hub for one of the 100 years company in US. So before US have this pandemic, actually most of the orders it goes back to US, and delivery all is being done in US. After this pandemic, we received a lot of inquiry from Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia, and Indo-China as well, because we carry our inventory is also quite high as well for this range of products. So now we receive a lot of inquiries. As I said, during the Hong Kong case, is actually one of the US brand that we carried. So for the next few months, I think the order or the inquiry that we receive across our region is also quite sizable. So we will just for these few months, we'll try to maintain all these things.
Right. One thing I realized about this interview, Marcus, is that we are constantly laughing, right? Smiling. So, and I hear a lot of positive things, and I assume that sort of reflects the sentiment in your company.
Yeah,
There's also one more bit that I mentioned. In the first stimulus package that was announced by the former Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Muhammad, I think at the end of February, in his last few days as the Prime Minister, he did also mention that MRT works and other government infrastructure projects will continue. So it looks like you are not affected in that area. Are they coming back to renegotiate with you?
Yes. We are participating in LRT3.
Yeah. So
They're coming back for
so that would
renegotiation.
bode well for you.
Yeah.
Okay. You seem to have everything cut out for you. International markets are there. Market expansion into new segments, into new markets, new product lines that are coming up. I think the only risk that comes to you would be whether your buyers are, you're able to collect or not. You're trying to help them along the way. Anything else that that you would like to share? A note or word of advice to budding entrepreneurs out there who wants to be smiling and laughing like you during challenging times as well.
Okay, so like as for me, because we know that during this MCO period, most of us, we are working from home. So after this, I think most of the entrepreneurs out there or individuals, wherever they're home, they will build up their technology. In the other words, digitalization is very important. We need to leverage on the technology in order for us to work from home. The next one will be embrace of changes. Embrace for changes for me is that I always use system. I need to be flexible in every situation, especially this MCO or this COVID-19. I believe after the lockdown is live up, there will be a mental revolution and a lot of business model will be changed. So before all these things happen, we need to mentally prepare and be not to say as flexible. Of course, our principle comes first before we do anything. But we need to accept a lot of new ideas and then accept the challenges. Then only we can move on. But out of all these things, I think risk management is also very important. Risk management is not only on financial, like people management and our client as well, and our client and our goods. We need to have a contingency planning in every, our stakeholders are in other words. Our stakeholders and communication with our stakeholders, our business partner, our client, our supplier, whoever the communication. If let's say communication breakdown, then everything will be stuck. That's where it comes from. I always told my people, relationship is very important. So if let's say the relationship is in there, most of the things we can discuss just over the phone. And of course, the last one will be gratitude. We need to appreciate whatever we have, really being thankful and gratitude. This will be the few things that I can share, whereby these are the things that we practice. I keep on practicing, keep on reminding myself about these 5 key things.
Right. Thank you so much. So we hear you very clearly. First thing, you have to be have the right mental strength and the right mindset. Right. Then after that, you create trust and build relationships. And thirdly, you need to have a feel with your people. Right. Okay. Those are really gems that we could definitely learn from. And thank you so much, Marcus. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Marcus Liew, Director of Sales and Marketing from Unique Fire Industry. Thank you, Marcus. Let's give a hand to Marcus for spending your time, all right, in your busy schedule from the office, okay, with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it. And those of you at home, have a productive week ahead and keep safe. Thank you.